Okay, guys, so we're going to keep going with volume. So last week we did go over volume, but it was for prisms and cylinders. Today we're going to talk about volume of pyramids and cones. So just like surface area, it depends, whatever 3D figure you're working with, that determines what formula that you use. Okay, so we're going to go over pyramids first. And the formula for volume of a pyramid is going to be 1/3 times capital B times H. Okay. So your capital B, just like always, is going to be the area of your base. So you also have to pay attention to what shape is the area of my base, or what shape is my base, because then that will determine what formula you use to find the area of your base. And then H is going to be how tall the pyramid actually is. So H is going to be from the bottom of your pyramid to the very top tip point, because that's the highest part. So from the bottom of your pyramid to the very tip top part, which would be this part right here, that's going to be your H, your height. Okay? All right. So let's look at number 1. So if I were just working this by myself, I would ask myself what type of 3D figure this is. And it's a pyramid. So then I would look at whatever reference sheet, or if I had it memorized, I would write down the formula for volume of a pyramid. And that's volume equals 1/3 times capital B times H. Okay? My capital B is going to be the area of my base. Well, this base looks to be like a rectangle. So I'm going to just right over here, I'm going to put capital B equals, the area of a rectangle is just length times height, or length times width. Okay? So I'm just going to do 10 times 11 to find the area of my base. Okay? 10 times 11 is 110. So my capital B is going to be 110. Okay? So I'm going to substitute these values in. So I'm going to bring down the 1/3. My capital B, I've just found out, is 110. And then my height from the very bottom, let me change colors real quick, from the very bottom to the tip top point is going to be 16. So where I have an H, I'm going to substitute in a 16. Okay, so if you're just working with a calculator on your phone, it might be kind of hard to type in this fraction 1/3 so that you can multiply 1/3 times 110 times 16. So what you can do is you can multiply this 110 times 16, and then you can divide by 3. So if I multiply 110 times 16, I'm just going to bring down my 1/3. I get 1,760. So if I take this 1,760, I can just divide that by 3, and it will give me 586. And then let's just round to the hundredth. So let's do 0.67. Okay, and just like last time with volume, you're going to have inches cubed. So that would be my final answer. Okay, so just multiply. I'm going to say this one more time. You're just going to multiply these two numbers, and then whatever you get, just divide it by 3. Okay? All right, let's scoot down here and let's do number 2. Okay, so number 2. I would ask myself what kind of figure this is, and it's a pyramid. So I'm going to write down the formula for a pyramid. So volume equals 1/3 capital B H. Okay, my capital B is going to be the area of the base. The base looks to be a rectangle. So the formula for area of a rectangle is going to be length times width. Okay, the length is 21. The width is 9. So 21 times 9. My capital B is going to be 189. Okay, so now I'm just ready to substitute these values into my formula. So I'm going to bring down this 1/3. My capital B was 189, so I'm going to substitute in 189 for capital B. And then I need to look at my height. Your height's going to go from the bottom of the pyramid to the very point, top point. That measure is 5, so I'm going to substitute in a 5 for the H. Okay, just like last time, I can multiply this 189 times 5, and you get 945. Okay, so if I multiply that value times 1/3, that's the same thing as dividing it by 3. So in my calculator, I'm going to type 945 divided by 3. That's going to give me 315. So the volume will equal 315 yards cubed. We say cubed because we're talking about volume. Okay, I'm going to do one more pyramid, and then we're going to move on to cones. So I'm going to do number 4. So number 4, it's a pyramid. So my formula for volume of the pyramid is volume equals 1/3 times capital B times H. Okay, if we look at the base of this pyramid, it is not a rectangle, it's a triangle. It's a triangle. Okay, so to find the area of that base, I need to use the formula for area of a triangle. Area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. Okay, the base of this triangle is 12. So I'm going to bring down the 1/2, substitute in 12 for the B. And this height right here is 7.5. Okay, so 1/2 times 12 times 7.5 is 45. So my capital B is going to be 45 for this problem. Okay, so let's substitute these values in. So I'm going to bring down the 1/3. My capital B is going to be 45. And my H is right here because it goes from the bottom to the top point. That measure is 10. So for the H, I'm going to substitute in a 10. Okay, so just like earlier, I'm going to do 45 times 10, which is 450. Okay, I just multiplied these two together. Yes. Now I take 450 and I divide it by 3, and that gives me 150. So the volume of this pyramid is 150 millimeters cubed. Or you could say 150 cubic millimeters. Okay? So the main thing that I think that y'all have gotten good about substituting in formulas, but the main thing I wanted you to know that if you're just dealing with a simple calculator and you're having trouble typing this 1/3 in, you can multiply those two regular numbers and then divide whatever you get by 3, and that's the same thing as multiplying times 1/3. Okay? All right, let's move on to cones. Okay? Cones. The formula for volume of a cone is going to be 1/3 times pi r squared h. 1/3 times pi r squared h. Okay? The r is going to stand for radius, and the h is going to stand for the height. Okay? So if I was working out number 7, I would look at it and I would say, okay, what kind of 3D shape is it? It's a cone. So then I would either by memorization or look at my reference sheet, I would write down the formula for volume of a cone. So I would write down volume equals 1/3 times pi r squared h. And then I would just plug everything in. Okay, so like before, if you want to type in the pi button on your calculator, you can, or you can use 3.14. When you get ready to work your IXL tomorrow, the IXL has you use 3.14. So you can do it either way. Your answer will be a little bit different if you use the pi button, and it'll be a little bit different if you use 3.14, but it'll be close to the same. Okay? All right. So today I'm just probably going to use the pi button. So I'm going to bring down that 1/3. I'm going to bring down the pi symbol because I'm just going to use the pi button in my calculator. Then I need to figure out what R is. R is your radius. So it goes from edge of the circle to the center. And they have that measure as being 9. So right here where it has R squared, I'm going to put 9 squared. Okay? And then my height is going to go from the tip top to the bottom of the cone. So that measure in this diagram is going to be 17 because it's this measure right here. Okay, so for the H, I'm going to substitute in 17. Okay, so like earlier, if you cannot type in 1/3 into your calculator, you can type in, let me get a different color. You can type in the pi. So I'm going to put the pi button times 9 squared times 17. And I get this really long, let me just bring this 1/3 down. So I'm going to have 1/3 times 4,325.97. Okay, so now that I have that big number, instead of multiplying it times 1/3, I can divide it by 3. So I just have that number already in my calculator, and I'm going to divide by 3. And so that's going to give me that the volume equals 1,441, let's go to 100.99. Okay, so that would be my, I need to put my units. So it'd be yards cubed. Okay, let's do one more cone and then we'll be done. So let's look at number 8. This is a cone. So I'm going to write down the formula for volume of a cone. Volume equals 1/3 times pi times r squared times h. Okay, I'm going to bring down the 1/3. I'm going to bring down the pi because I'm just going to type the pi button in my calculator. Okay, so now I need to find the radius. They give me the diameter in this diagram because they go from this edge of the circle all the way to the other edge of the circle. I only need halfway. I just need from the edge to the center. So if I just want halfway, I need to take this 5 and divide it by 2. If I do that, I get 2.5. So my radius for this picture is going to be 2.5. So over here in my formula where I have r squared, I'm going to substitute in 2.5 squared. Okay, and then my height. Your height goes from the point down to the base. Point down to the base. So that measure is 8. So I'm going to substitute an 8 in for the H. Okay, so in my calculator, I'm going to type pi times 2.5 squared times 8. Okay, and I get, so I'm bringing my 1/3. Okay, so I multiply this. Oh, let me get it. I multiply this times this times this. And I got 157.08. Okay, and I have that number still calculated in my calculator. So before I type anything else, I'm just going to get divided by 3. And so my final answer would be my volume equals 52.36 inches cubed. Okay, you have 5 problems to do on the Google form. Email me or message me on Google Classroom or message me on Facebook or whatever. If you need help, let me know.